comes in two dark agave, and this is light agave. Taste-wise, they taste identical. The dark one tends to be more mineral rich, so it's got a higher mineral profile, but in terms of flavour you don't really taste a great deal between the two, and certainly mixing it into the cacao, you're not going to have any perceptible difference in taste between the dark and the light. This is raw again, so I mean, everything we're using, all the ingredients are raw, so you end up with a raw product. So we just keep adding this in and letting this melt. The agave is just one of the things. I find it easier to use this. You could use something like xylitol, which again is low GL. You could use that, but I find it easier to add a liquid when you're making this, because we're not having a high temperature and it's quite a viscous liquid. Adding a sugar, a granular sugar, can take a little bit longer to actually dissolve in. The liquid will actually dissolve in and work more effectively. But there is xylitol.
But again, with the agave, it's less processed. It's just it's raw.
It is raw. Yeah, we're keeping it all raw. The xylitol is not raw.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
The agave is.
So this is mixing in really nicely. So while we're just waiting for that to finish, I'm going to just talk about some of the other things that we can add into the chocolate. Has anybody ever tasted carob? Carob? No. Carob's kind of often touted as the substitute for chocolate, so people who are trying to avoid chocolate. And by that I think most people are trying to avoid the processed chocolate, the stuff that's laden with sugar and dairy and all of that. So a lot of these customers that we have here will be looking for a substitute. They will look for carob. Carob looks virtually identical to cacao when it's ground down. It doesn't taste quite the same, but it looks the same. Small amounts of carob powder added to this actually enhance the flavour of chocolate. Just a small bit. I would put maybe about a teaspoon of carob powder, or you could put a little bit of carob nectar into this, but just a little bit. It brings out the chocolatey flavour. So it's a nice thing to add in. I would say when you first start making it, keep it very simple until you've made your first batch and you're happy with it, then start experimenting. But I just mention it as a possibility, adding a little bit of carob powder. The carob powder comes from pods. They grow in most of the kind of Mediterranean. They look like this, long pods that just hang from the tree. They drop off in the autumn and they dry. And I kind of think these are like nature's own chewy bar. They're in their own packaging. This is how they come off the tree. So it's like nature's own chewy bar. And if anybody wants to try them, you eat the whole pod. So does anybody want to try some carob pods? You can eat the whole pod. There's some little seeds. There's some little seeds inside. So be careful. Just chew. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the flavour of that. There's some little seeds. Be careful. The seeds are inedible. They're hard and they're inedible. So you've just got to kind of spit the seed out. You know, the seeds have got an interesting story. They're called carrots.
Oh, I think I know one.
The seeds are called carrots, and that's where you get the term, when we're talking about gold, carrots, as in 24 karat gold, because the seeds, you'll see them when you come across them, they're all exactly the same size and weight, and because they're also uniformly the same size and weight, they were a great measure for gold. So that's where we get the term 24 karat gold or 18 karat gold. It was a measure. They used these seeds. So a pile of seeds on the scales, and you weighed up the gold. So carob itself has got a fascinating history, just like cacao. And they're two foods that actually really go so well together. What do you think of the... It's interesting, isn't it?
Actually, it's very nice, different.
Carob pods.
That's going home now with a pack.
Yeah.
I ate the whole lot of
Yeah.
car on the way home last night. I've got seats all in the
The pods are brilliant. You keep them in your bag, but you don't even have them wrapped. You know? No, you can't eat the seeds. You can't eat the seeds. You know, break your teeth on it. The pods are brilliant because you can just pop them in your bag. You know, they've got their own packaging and everything. In this kind of environmental, friendly, aware, you know, do without packaging age, these are fantastic. Well, who needs packaging? You've got a carob pod that's nutritious, great to eat. Keep it in your bag. If you fancy something that's sweet, nutritious, good for you, healthy, there's nothing to beat a carob pod unless you've got some raw chocolate.
But could Kenny have that? He wants to give that to a friend.
Yeah, there's loads. There's carob pods here, so look, there's more if anybody wants to take carob pods away with them. There's some. One thing, I don't know if we get a teaspoon. I wouldn't mind a teaspoon. I forgot to bring that up. We're gonna just in this pot here. I hope I'm still in view here. In this pot, we've got some coconut milk. This is kind of like a fantastic product. It is so good. Coconut milk, you could use, if you're dairy free and you're not using soy or rice, coconut milk is just fantastic to add into tea, coffee, cereals.
My ties.
You could do, yes, yeah, absolutely.
I like your thinking.
Yes, yeah. It is just, this is just a brilliant product. I'm going to find my cacao powder. I just discovered this. We've only had it in the shop for, I don't know, a couple of months or whatever. We discovered it, everybody loved it. It's been selling like crazy. And it's just a fantastic product. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to... I've got basically 2 cups of the cacao, the coconut milk, and I'm putting about 2 teaspoonfuls of the cacao powder per cup. It depends what your taste is. You know, put 1 in and try. If you want it more chocolatey, add another. You know, it's just purely down to taste. It's going to be bitter, so agave syrup again is brilliant. So